Police storm church and arrest pastor for allegedly collecting ransom for kidnappers. A 45-year-old pastor in the Freke Udo Amos has been arrested by operatives of the FIB for allegedly helping a kidnap gang in the abduction of an 80-year-old man, Pa Anthony Uguzo Idornige. The octogenarian victim was said to be sitting in his house they actually put his address, and we're not going to do that, at blah, 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 Lagos. That's the most we can give. On November 14th last year, when Amos walked in with a Bible in his hand and started preaching to him. In the middle of Amos's sermon, another stranger was said to have walked into the compound and claimed to be in search of accommodation. Pa Idornige was said to have offered him one, but the stranger said he should follow him to collect the amount demanded as rent because he did not have the money on him. While Pa Idornige was said to have been reluctant about following the stranger, Pastor Amos allegedly urged him to do so. In the process of following the stranger, Pa Idornige was abducted by some people the police now believe were working in cahoots with the pastor. 3 days later, Pa Idornige's abductors were said to have called the family demanding 20 million naira as ransom. FIB operatives were said to have swung into action immediately they learned about Pa Idornige's plight, rescuing the octogenarian from his abductors and tracing Amos to Agbado crossing part of Lagos State where his POS kiosk was situated. The police source said investigation into the matter revealed that Pastor Amos was a member of the gang with the specific role of going to houses of would-be victims to prepare the ground for their abduction. A female member of the gang was also said to be assigned to the role of making friends with people believed to be well-doing and could be kidnapped for ransom, while others were saddled with the task of taking custody of the gang's victims until their ransoms were paid. Members of Idornige's family were said to have paid various installments beginning with 850,000 naira, and then 250,000 naira, 50,000 naira, 200,000 naira, 650,000 naira, 250,000 naira, and 150,000 naira. Of course, these numbers were paid multiple times. The last payment of 150,000 naira to the said account was said to have been made by the police themselves and tagged payment for ransom after the matter had been reported by the family. A development said to have made Amos very uncomfortable. The visit to the FIB IRT operatives made to Amos's kiosk was said not to have yielded any results as they met Amos's absence. They were, however, told upon inquiries that Amos was the pastor in charge of a nearby church where service was going on. The operatives joined the congregation for service, during which they monitored the suspect and planned how to arrest him without causing a stir or disrupting the service. They were said to have allowed the service to end before they started following Amos to his house without him suspecting that they were on his trail. He was eventually picked up in a dramatic manner as he was about to enter his house. The operatives were said to have stopped him as he was about to get into his compound, flashed their identity cards and told him that he was under arrest. Thereafter, they told him to lead them to his POS kiosk, where they recovered some vital documents, including those that were used in transactions involving the kidnapping gang. Amos was said to have admitted ownership of the account number into which the ransom of 150,000 naira was paid, and upon interrogation at the Southwest office of FIB IRT, headed by Joel Igbinazaka, Ugowe, a superintendent of the police. He was also said to have confessed that he removed the female attendant at the POS kiosk and conducted the transaction himself before he feared that the secret, or because he feared that the secret deals would or could become known to the young lady. Speaking with the reporter in an interview, Amos, who described himself as an indigene of Ķ²M State, said, "I am a pastor with the Will of God Gospel Mission Church in Agbado Crossing, a suburb of Lagos State, and my residence is very close to the church. I became a pastor in 2015, and I have been with the church since then. I was not on salary, but the general overseer pays me a monthly stipend as upkeep money and also pays my children's school fees." Wow. Rich men and women, as well as others who God has blessed in one way or the other, also give me money, especially when they are giving testimonies and thanking God for what he did for them. Asking why he displayed his account number on his POS kiosk, he said it was so that his customers who had need of it would have access and not for criminal purposes. He added, "I was riding a commercial motorcycle to augment the upkeep money my general overseer was giving me. In 2019, my general overseer, founder of the church, gave me 300,000 naira to start a POS business, and I started it between September and October. I reside very close to my church, so I put a female operator there because I would not be able to do the two works at the same time." On the allegation that he sacked the lady attendant at his kiosk because he feared that she could leak his details with the kidnappers, he said, "I did not sack the girl. I told her that I wanted to manage the POS myself because from what was happening, I thought she would not be able to manage the problems with the operations of POS." He also denied being the one that gave the kidnappers his account number, saying, "Yes, it was my account details that were sent to the victim's family to pay in the ransom, but I was not the only one who sent it, and I did not know who sent it." And so yeah, that's really it, to be honest. There is so much information on this, and maybe more investigations do need to be done, but this just shows that with the situation of the country, Nigerians would get more innovative to do legal stuff to survive. To survive or not, you should not really do things like this in which you are affecting other people's, livelihoods and stuff. So yeah, it is what it is at this point. It's very, very sad. In a case like this, you yourself as the victim or a relative to the victim, you need to have the right connections to be able to, get over this matter. Put what you think about this, and don't forget to like and subscribe.